My name is Penny, and I'm 37 years old. I've been married to Raphael for 13 years, and we recently bought a house near our workplace. It was a dream come true, but things took a dark turn when my younger sister, Margot, got involved. Our parents, now in their 70s, had to leave their old apartment due to demolition. Raphael, being the kind man he is, suggested they move in with us. It seemed like the perfect solution at first. Little did I know, this decision would lead to chaos, betrayal, and an unexpected fight for my home. Margot and her husband Mark had always struggled financially. Over the years, she frequently borrowed money from me, always promising to return it but never did. When I refused her requests, she called me selfish, saying that since I worked for a big company, I should help her. Despite my reservations, I allowed her to help with our parents' move. That's when she saw our house for the first time. Her eyes gleamed with envy as she stepped inside, making comments about how big and beautiful it was. I had an uneasy feeling that she wasn't just visiting. After our parents moved in, things seemed fine for a while, but soon Margot started visiting frequently, often bringing Mark along. At first, it was just once a week, but then it became almost every day. My mother enjoyed their company, unaware of what was really happening. Slowly, household items began disappearing. Vegetables, toilet paper, even expensive gifts Raphael had received from work. At first, I thought my mother was using them, but when I asked her, she denied it. Suspicion grew in my mind, but without proof, I stayed silent. However, things were about to escalate. One day, Raphael couldn't find his brand new wallet, a birthday gift from me. It was gone. That was the breaking point. We knew Margot and Mark were the only ones who could have taken it. Tired of being stolen from, Raphael and I made a plan. We pretended to leave for work, but instead, we hid nearby, waiting. Sure enough, within an hour, Margot and Mark arrived. My heart pounded with anger. Just 5 minutes after they entered, we burst in through the door. Margot's face went pale. "Why are you here?" she stammered. She had been caught. "We need to talk," I said firmly. Mark and my parents appeared surprised. I took a deep breath and looked Margot in the eyes. "We know you've been stealing from us," I said. "This has to stop. You are not welcome in our house anymore." Margot's face turned red. "I come here to keep Mom and Dad company." "What's wrong with that?" she shouted. Raphael crossed his arms. "Then why do expensive things keep disappearing? And where's my wallet?" Mark panicked. "We're family. Why are you accusing us?" But the guilt was written all over their faces. Margot suddenly snapped. "You're not taking care of things properly. We're moving in and you old hag need to leave." My mouth fell open. Was she serious? Then she added, "We'll pay $1,700 for expenses." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Raphael, who had been silent, suddenly smirked. "Oh, good luck with the $7,000 it actually costs," he said, pulling out a document listing all our expenses. Margot's smug expression vanished. "What? $7,000? She gasped. She turned to my mother for support, but even she looked stunned. They had underestimated what it took to live in our home. Margot scoffed but led us inside. As we walked into the living room, my heart sank. The house, once spotless, was a disaster. Empty snack wrappers littered the floor and dirty dishes were stacked on the table. It was clear no one had bothered to clean since we left. My mother sat on the couch, looking content as if nothing was wrong. Mark was lounging in an armchair, his feet resting on my coffee table. This wasn't just a temporary stay for them. They had settled in, treating my home like their own. I took a deep breath. It was time. "We've come to discuss the future of this house," I said, keeping my voice steady. "Raphael and I are moving forward with our lives. If you want to stay here, you need to buy it from us." Margot's smug expression disappeared. "What?" she blurted. Raphael placed a folder on the table. "Here's the sale contract. The price is $1.5 million. Silence filled the room. My father looked away. My mother frowned and Mark let out a nervous chuckle. "That's ridiculous," Margot snapped. "This house is already ours." I shook my head. "No, it's not. Either buy it or leave." Margot's eyes darted between us and the contract. "We don't have that kind of money," she shouted. Raphael leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "Then why are you acting like you own this place?" he asked coolly. My mother suddenly chimed in. "Penny, be reasonable. We're family. Why are you treating us like strangers?" I let out a bitter laugh. "Family? Is that what you call taking advantage of us? Stealing from us? Lying to us?" Margot's face turned red with anger. "You always think you're better than me," she snapped. "You've always been selfish." But I wasn't backing down. I stood my ground. "This isn't about being selfish. It's about respect. You've taken from me for years, Margot. You've lied, manipulated, and now you've tried to steal my home. It ends today." Mark finally spoke, his voice shaking. "Penny, please. We have nowhere else to go." I felt a flicker of pity, but I shoved it down. "That's not my problem," I said firmly. "You had a home. You had chances. You ruined them." Raphael stepped forward. "You have 1 week to move out. After that, we're taking legal action." Margot's jaw clenched. "You wouldn't dare." But she knew we would. For the next few days, tension filled the house. Margot tried to talk my mother into convincing me to change my mind. "Tell Penny she's making a mistake," I overheard her whispering. But my mother just sighed. "I don't know, Margot. Maybe we pushed too far." That was the first time I saw doubt in my mother's eyes. Mark, on the other hand, started packing his things quietly. He wasn't going to fight, but Margot, she wasn't ready to let go. I should have expected what happened next. Desperation makes people dangerous. And Margot, she was more desperate than ever. One night, I woke up to a strange noise downstairs. My heart pounded as I shook Raphael awake. "Someone's in the house," I whispered. We crept down the stairs, careful not to make a sound. As we reached the living room, my blood ran cold. Margot stood there, stuffing jewelry and cash into a bag. "My jewelry! My money!" She looked up, frozen like a deer caught in headlights. "Margot," I said, my voice trembling with rage. "What are you doing?" Her eyes darted around, looking for an escape. I was just..." But there was no excuse, no way out. Raphael stepped forward. "Put it down," he said, his voice calm but firm. Margot hesitated, then clenched her jaw. "I deserve this," she suddenly screamed. "You stole everything from me. You have money, a husband, a house. What do I have? Nothing." Tears streamed down her face, but I felt no sympathy. "You have nothing because you made it that way," I shot back. "Now put it down, or I call the police." She didn't move. Raphael took out his phone. "Last chance." Panic flashed in Margot's eyes. Slowly, she dropped the bag. Then she turned and ran. The next morning, Margot and Mark packed their things. My parents, silent and ashamed, followed them. No goodbyes, no apologies, just the sound of suitcases dragging across the floor. As they stepped outside, Margot turned back, her eyes filled with hatred. "You'll regret this," she spat. I didn't respond. I simply closed the door. For the first time in months, our house was ours again. Raphael pulled me into a hug. "It's over," he murmured. But I knew better. People like Margot never truly leave. And I was right. Just weeks later, she was back, this time more desperate than ever. Margot called, her voice shaking. "Penny, please, I need help. Mark left me. Mom and Dad spent all their money on stupid things. I'm drowning. I cut her off. "That's not my problem, Margot." Silence. Then a choked sob. "Please, I have nowhere else to go." My fingers tightened around the phone. "Find a job," I said, "like the rest of us." Then I hung up. It was over, truly over. I wouldn't let her drag me down again. She had taken enough from me, and now she would finally have to face the consequences of her own actions. 3 years passed. Raphael and I built a life free from my family's chaos. We had a beautiful baby, a child who would never know the kind of betrayal I endured. Margot and my mother, they lost everything. Evicted, abandoned, forgotten. Occasionally, they tried to reach out, but I never answered. My life was peaceful now, filled with love and laughter. I had learned a hard lesson. Not all family deserves a place in your life. And as I watched my child play, I knew I had made the right choice. This was the family I had always deserved.